All right, take two of the Wisdom Wednesday podcast, let's say Instagram podcast. These are actually going to be posted on the my YouTube page, so you guys can actually check a replay of this on YouTube as well as in the Instagram TV. So let's just wait for our guests to come back in here. We'll see if everything works out fine. Hey, what's going on, Crazy Bahamas? We're testing the sound for the second time. If you can hear me 100%, then can you put two thumbs up just so that I know that, okay, perfect, it's better. So when Nia comes in, then we'll be able to kind of test out the sound for the second time and make sure everything. Let's see. Did I do that right? Let's see. Did I do that? Okay. Testing. There is a.
Yeah, that does sound better though.
Does it?
Yeah, it does. It does.
Okay. Perfect. If y'all, okay, Michelle Green says she can hear. Perfect. So we are testing. We are all good. Now, I'm going to give you a slight introduction because what I do want everybody to know is because we're on Wisdom Wednesday, this is specifically for folks who are in corporate, they're in their 9 to 5, they're transitioning into entrepreneurship, and they don't know where to start. And because they don't know where to start, we're like all over the place, right? We're just creating websites. We're doing all this other stuff. Now, what we're here to do is hear Miss Nia's story. We want to know the highs. We want to know the lows. We want to know the lessons. We want to know all of that. So without further ado, would you please introduce yourself?
I am Nia Whaley. I am an increased strategist, but my clients call me their business therapist. And what I do is I create flow systems that brings peace between life and business. Like the plan, the system you need to propel yourself so you can get to and transition over to the next level of entrepreneurship or building wealth, period.
Absolutely. Are you full-time entrepreneur yet?
I am right now.
Girl, now was that by force or was that voluntary discomfort?
It was by force. It was by force. It was by force. It was something that I wasn't expecting. I was already I was custom making shoes before I came into the field that I'm in now. I was custom making shoes, so I always had like a business mindset or like I want a business thing. Mm-hmm. And so, but now that I have matured and like developed into it, I realized it was just more of a hustling mindset. So like I basically had a side hustle. But because baby, hustle and entrepreneurship are two different things.
Facts.
It's different things.
Let's do that as while we're thinking about it, like when it comes to the journey, what were some of those things that you said you recognized that you were hustling and you not versus being an entrepreneur? And I absolutely agree there's a bit of a difference. So what did you identify as a difference? How were you acting before versus how you acting now?
I was winging it. It was more about the money all the time. So it was never any long-term goals in it. It was just more, as long as I have money, I'm good. That was literally it. Long as I have money, I'm good. And it was even like that when I was, when I had a job, in the corporate field, because I come from the medical field and I was training, like the doctors, the therapists, like the whole entire staff that in the hospital, this new technology called Epic. So that's where I was at before I left. But, girl, it just came around. It came down to a very tragic moment in my life. I had just had a baby, and she ended up having gastrosthesis, and we didn't know anything about it. So she was born with her whole entire intestines hanging outside of her stomach, and we literally found out 30 minutes before she came. So after that, I took some time off to take care of my baby. And then I received a letter in the mail from Medicaid saying, like, we're coming back for all of the money that we gave you because you didn't put your husband's name on your Medicaid application. So I was facing up to 10 years. But the letter was, now that I understand like copywriting and like writing, the letter was written to scare me. And so like, I was like, damn, like, what am I going to do? How can I stop this? How can I stop this before my husband know? Because he didn't know I didn't put his name on a Medicaid application. Like, what can I do to stop all of this? And so when I talked to him, he had said these words to me that made me click, like made me like, oh, hell no. I'm doing all of this wrong. So when it came down to what I had did, he said, if you can pay us back the $18,000 that we pay. Now, mind you, it don't cost $18,000 to have a baby. Mm-hmm. So I was paying for a mistake that a doctor had previously made, which was miss my daughter's ultrasound with her whole tire test. That wasn't my fault. So I had to pay. They were coming to me to pay all of that back. So he said, if you can pay us the $18,000 within 30 days, it will be like nothing never happened. We would completely sweep it up underneath the rug. It will be like nothing never happened. So basically, if I couldn't come up with the $18,000 within 30 days, I was going to have to go through like the whole process of being processed and all of that stuff.
18,000, all of what you owed, or were they trying to say if you pay this 18,000, you won't have to pay 100 and something thousand later?
18,000 was all that I owed. That's all the medical. If I pay off the if I pay off the 18,000 in 30 days, it will be like nothing. I still have that email to this day. I still have the email that he sent me with the 1, 2, 3. Like if either you're gonna pay us the $18,000 in 30 days, or we can put you through like this community service thing, which you still may have to pay the money. Yeah. And then the third one was no, that was the third option, to pay the money within 30 days. So anyways, so I kept reading the third option. If I have the money at the 18th day. And so it clicked to me like I wasn't going to be prosecuted because I didn't put my husband's name on my Medicaid application. I was going to be prosecuted because I didn't have $18,000.
Wow.
And then so I have been working for 8 years and I didn't have $18,000. And that bothered me because I went up the corporate ladder, and because I had the feel and the look. Like me and my husband were making very good money with our jobs. Like we were the people who people came to for help. We were the people that you get what I'm saying? So I lived this middle class lifestyle, which was completely an illusion, because at the end of the day, what was I truly working for? When I go hit that clock, what am I truly working for? I realized I was never working for myself and for my future. I was working for status, which was to say that I didn't know that back then, but I knew that as like coming through it, like, hold on, wait, I don't have $18,000. There's something wrong with that. So now I'm like moving back, because my mindset is I always figure it out, right? I always figure out, but also I'm known as a money person. So now I'm like just doubling back in my mind, like, why don't I have this money? Like, why don't I have it? It was really bothering me.
Can I ask you a question? Yeah. Because we didn't get too deep into the increased strategist, which I think you'll get a chance to explain in this question, because when you say you're a finance person, you help people not only increase their revenue, but to increase their profit. Am I right?
No. When I talk about increase, I increase the individual person so then they can go get the profit, and then they can go get the sales. How
so
the increase?
Say you're a finance person.
No, that's what I was known for, hustling. I was known for getting money. That's what I meant. I wasn't a finance person. I was known for money. I was known for always having it. I was known for it, right? Yeah. So it came down to the illusion of just because you're getting money don't mean you have it. So it was like, long as I keep getting it, I'm good. Long as I keep getting it, I'm good. But when it came down to when I needed it, I didn't have the 18 grand. And so instead of my mindset being on how much money I can make, I started calculating my time, money, and efforts. I started calculating how long I worked, how much time I worked, and how much my bank account said that I had, and it wasn't adding up.
Yeah.
I immediately went into like a radical mode, like, The answer is building wealth. So I didn't go into I want to be an entrepreneur. I went to straight. I need to build wealth. Like I need to build wealth. I started becoming very intentional about my moves, what I picked. But when it hit me that I was basically living a lie. You know what I mean? It wasn't. I thought I was building. So here's the difference. The difference was I was working and I was never building anything.
Yeah.
And that's two different things. And so, what was I about to say?
You were telling the difference one between hustling and being an entrepreneur. So I really appreciate that differentiation. And you also explained why you were you weren't voluntarily, uncomfortable. You specifically were forced into entrepreneurship. So that shares a little bit about your why. And then you went straight into wealth building, right? So in your wealth building strategy, you became part of your journey, right, is becoming an increased strategist. So I definitely don't want to miss that part so that we can kind of clarify what is it that you specifically do? Because I thought it was definitely in the increase in financial state, but I understand that you also increase people personally. So let's talk about
it's three components. So within my journey, so that was the beginning. Mm-hmm. So after I came into this epiphany, I immediately started to talk to people. So I started looking for like churches or like where anybody was at to tell them like, because if I didn't have this $18,000 and I had worked 8 years and I didn't have the money, I started to think like, hold on, wait, damn, don't nobody got the money. I can't go to anybody in my family right now for 18 G's. So then it started to look like a bigger picture. And I'm like, damn, don't nobody know. Like, don't nobody truly know that they're not truly working for themselves like they think that they are if they're not building, if they're not intentionally building. So I started to speak and it was blowing up. It was blowing up. I was never a speaker. I was just on it like they gotta know because this was a mistake I made. So I was basically on like an awareness situation. It came down to me taking my first online class on how to build my business, right? And girl, I took that first online class and realized I ain't know a damn thing about business. I didn't know anything. I didn't know what a domain name was. I didn't know anything. So I started to like educate myself. And so as these speaking things are like blowing up, other people are telling other people about me. And so I'm getting all of these speaking events. Now, mind you, I'm a first-time mom. I just got married. I've been married for like over a year. My daughter's probably like 6 months. And all of this is just so new. You couldn't have told me that people are willing to pay me hundreds and thousands of dollars to speak, to open my mouth and talk like a regular conversation. And that was like, whoa. So now the job thing is looking like this is some new money. So what I like to call is uncommon wealth. I fell into this thing of like uncommon money, uncommon wealth. It was so easy. It almost felt like I was ripping people off because that's how easy it is. And so that what made me put me in a mindset that I was really stuck on, that I had to keep working for money. Mm-hmm. Money doesn't have to be like that. You can be at ease and still make a large sum. That's usually where everybody want to be at anyways, right? And so after that, I come into, it really came down to me being a mom. I didn't have support in that area like I thought I would have. I never prepared myself to not support it. And like when it came to like watching my child and stuff like that, and that is the hard when you're trying to build a business and you have a newborn and all of that. And so because I didn't have the support that I truly needed, I started building systems to support me. And so that's why I built flow systems. And so I started building a system in my home. I started building systems in my business. And then I start increasing myself. I start eating right. I start exercising. I start working on my mindset. Like I started to like really truly transform to where I'm at right now. And so that's what I mean by increased strategies, is because a lot of women who were coming to me, because I was looked at as a money person. So they would come to me and be like, well, how can I save more money if I'm only making this? And like these financial questions. And when I was talking to them, it will always turn into tears. Like they would be crying. It would be, and then to be honest, the call was never about money. But I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I was triggering. I didn't know what, I was just like, let's get down to the root of what it really is. And when it comes down to women, especially Black women, they already hustling and making money. You get what I'm saying? I can't hear you if you talk. Okay.
I'm
yeah.
muting because it's a lot of noise out here. And
okay.
I'm so into the story.
Oh yeah. It's a lot of people already hustling and making money. Women will figure it out. Yes. They will work jobs and 3 jobs and 3 jobs. What they're looking for is a flow. How can I maintain what I have going on, and then how can I still build the next level? And so everybody's talking about you need a plan. Get a plan. Get a plan. Mm-hmm. What I found out is the plan is just like the guide, but what's going to propel the action? Like all of the tasks, everything that I need to do. Yes. So like I started to sit down, like as far as my home systems, I started to like I didn't want to be thinking about bills all month, so I created a system for my bills. Mm-hmm. We pay bills one time out of the month now, besides him paying the rent. But we pay bills one time out of the month. I don't got time to be thinking about a bill on the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, the 18th, and the 17th. So basically, how can we decrease all of these adulting things that we have and push it to straightforward so we can execute? People want to really execute and progress their lives. Now, mind you, many of us are like first generational cycle breakers or building businesses. You get what I'm saying? So who's teaching that? Yeah. Who's actually supporting the person as they're trying to build their legacy for their family and build their business to take care of their family? Because in the beginning, that's what it's about. In the beginning, you're building for like to pay your bills. It's not to, it's an entity and this and that. It's like, man, I'm about to pay my light bill. I'm like,
it's going to break even, Lord. And
yeah,
building wealth. But what you said though, kind of going back to your story, was once you realize like the backwardness of the system and the fact that a lot of us don't have $18,000 off the top to just kind of deliver just because the government says that they want their money back or the insurance company says they want their money back. You said, I'm gonna go straight to wealth building, right? But then you also said, like, as you started to, what I love about your introduction, you said that, you help people increase their personal self, but a lot of people call you a business therapist, right? A lot of time, and then another thing I'm going to connect the dot here is because you said women want to know how do they maintain doing what they're doing right now, and then also catapult themselves into their next thing, which would be their business, right? So when I ask you this question, I'm speaking from a place where, a lot of new entrepreneurs don't know what they want to do. They don't know what value they offer. They know that, okay, I want to create new wealth, or maybe they also have the same desire to figure out how do I get that $18,000 so I can have, more residual income. But what was your process to figure out what you do and then to figure out what you name it? And then what did that iterative process look like for you?
It was a big struggle. I would say it was a big struggle because you're used to hustling. It's like you need money now. Mm-hmm. However, if you was to pull back and build on what's in front of you, mm-hmm. It was almost like I had to shift my mentality that what everybody telling me that they love was real.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me make sure I caught that. You had to shift your mind to say what everybody was telling you was real. So you were telling yourself something else, and everyone else was saying, I'm getting value.
Yeah, like, are they really? Because it was blowing up so fast, and everybody's like, I love this, man. This is game changer. Like, I knew, because it gives them that epiphany or like that, damn, I knew it was something, because they're working. They are working. They are doing their 40 out, but then, like, I'm tired. When am I going to catch up? Yeah. When am I going? And I'm telling you, until you build wealth, you're probably not going to catch up. And then it's also not even just jobs and entrepreneurship. I like to tell people, it really comes down to once you get paid, what you're going to do with that money once it hits your hand.
Mm-hmm.
Because each one of them is work. Each one of them, they even servicing clients or has a product for a client. It's both working and servicing and working with or for people, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it comes down to that money game and where you're going to put your money at to make it start working for you. And you're not building that when you're doing a job.
Absolutely.
Because you don't have the, yeah, you're not even thinking that. You're thinking about today and right now.
Yeah.
And
so I'm thinking about your you also found that you're a speaker, right? I would not actually I was not surprised as you start telling your story that you're a speaker because I'm over here being uplifted just simply through you telling me your story. Like your energy is on 10. I was like,
is it? I feel like I'm so calm right now. I can get there though. But that's what I'm saying. Just exactly what you're saying right now. That's what I was getting like. And so like it was like y'all really feeling it? It almost like you feel like somebody pulling your leg.
mm-hmm.
So it's like, you know, going to from making $20-some an hour to getting paid $1,500 one time at one point. It's like, whoa. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, I had my vision, but when it came down to being the process of building it, it was like, this is really working. Like, it was that internal and, you know, back and forth that I really had to deal with. But how did I come into identifying what I was truly good at was simply by just serving others.
Mm-hmm.
Serving others, seeing the results I get. Because here's the thing, people were paying me to help them with whatever problem they came to me with. No, literally.
Mm-hmm.
And I would help them, I would get results, but I didn't know why they was coming back. I didn't know why they was paying me. I would have these sessions with women and I was getting tipped $50 on top of the session. But I didn't know, like, what is this? Like, what is this? And then so what I realized is it's my good karma. It's my good karma, and at the end of the day, wealth is my birthright. At the end of the day, I'm not harming anybody. At the end of the day, my integrity is good. At the end of the day, I really do increase individuals and transform lives. So why am I second guessing it?
So you come from the medical background, right? Were you specifically like an administrative back end? Were you medical? Where was your mindset in the medical field?
To be honest though, I'm gonna be honest. It was one day I was walking in the medical field, just walking through the halls for my patients. I was a patient care technician first, and then I increased up the corporate ladder to Epic, which is training through the training through their recording, through their the patient records. You know how like when a doctor come in, they bring that computer out? That's a program that they're putting all your information in. So Epic was transferring over to the hospital that I was working at, and then that was the new system, so everybody had to be trained. So I moved up there. Mm-hmm. And so I'm sorry, what was the main question? Because I would start going into...
You did. I thought you were going to talk about, it sounds like when I asked you about your mindset, it sounds like you were about to talk about a story where you were.
I was. One day I was walking through the hallways and I said to myself quietly, like, this is not it. And I don't know what I'm going to do or what has to happen, but I can't do this for years, because that's what I was taught. I was taught that you go to school, good grades, you get a good job, and you thought the job was the thing. I come to realize throughout all of this journey that the job isn't the thing, it's you. As long as you got the skill, you can go anywhere you want to go. It's not the job. And when kids get out of high school and college, they think it's the job. Yeah. And so they'll sell themselves for the position, yeah, and not positioning themselves and then have the offer come to them. That's all I did was reposition myself.
Yeah.
I was already business minded, but I had nobody telling me like, you were entrepreneur or you can go this. It was just like, I guess everybody assumed that I knew, but yeah, I didn't know. I came into like a huge identity shift after having my daughter. Like, because after I had my daughter, all of this happened. So I had a huge identity shift as a new mom, as a wife, and it was all new to me. But now I'm okay. Now I'm okay. It took me a minute to get here, but now I'm okay.
Can I ask you about your process? So like the way you process that identity shift. So I think a lot of times, and for people who don't even have children, they go through a process of like, who am I now, right? Whereas you're no longer just the employee of the company. You want to be an entrepreneur. You want to be a good wife. You want to be a good mother. All of these like future goals of who we are, but we're like shifting. Our identity is shifting along the way. What was your process to keep you grounded along the way? Or do you feel like you just lost yourself
Healing,
completely?
healing, healing was my That's the personal development part of my program. It's healing.
Can you walk me through your healing process?
So it came down to I had this conversation with my dad, and I broke down like it wasn't just crying, it was like a hysterical crying. And then so in the mix of this crying, it just it I a thought came across my mind and said, "You haven't been this upset in a very long time. What is this?" And so it made me feel like a 14-year-old girl again. And I'm like, what is this? And so I come to realize that I needed to heal. And not only just for that particular incident that was the catalyst to me healing, but if I'm going to really build this wealth, if I'm going to really transform lives, I got to know how to interact with people and get emotional intelligent, and I can't do that until I work on me. So I start literally working on myself and putting myself through my healing process. What that looked like was I started changing the kind of foods that I would eat. I started getting intentional about my boundaries. I started to really get down to like why I do the things I do. And I realized a lot of the things that I did was for survivor mode. So it was like, how do you debunk survivor mode when you're not in that survivor mode anymore? It was so hard for my husband to take over, and that was another thing, is that I have a husband who's paying all of the bills, and all of that stuff. But that was hard for me to sit there and like have him take care over everything, and I had no income coming in. I'm used to having something coming in. So sitting down, I'm constantly asking him, like, are you okay? You got it? He's like, yeah, like, just do you. And it was hard for me to just do me. It was hard for me to just sit back. And and that's what I say. My daughter, I started writing this book called The Freedom of My Seed. And it's all around my daughter and how she came into my life, and everything shifted because I didn't know that I had childhood trauma until that time. This whole time, girl, I'm thinking I'm fine. And you want me to tell you why I thought I was fine? Because I had money. I ain't got time to feel. I got bread. I just gotta I'm gonna go to work. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I don't got time to feel. I've never had time to feel until I had to sit down. Yeah. Until that situation happened was the first time I actually got still. I started to really realize, about like in order to really build this business, I went to personal development. So while everybody else around me is talking about they just hit 6 figures or they just made 10K this month and it's all about money, 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 I went straight into personal development. I pulled completely back and got grounded within myself. Let me tell you something. At the end of the day, that's what's going to keep you grounded. Balance isn't your money. Balance isn't a schedule. It's not getting your task in order. Your balance is your healing. Your balance is your personal development and your growth. And so that's where I started to funnel all of my energy in, was to increase me. That's why it's called Increasing You. So because I know if I increase me, I already know how to make money, right?
Ooh, that's
good. I already know how to make.
Yes. Guys, did she freeze for you guys or was it just me? Thumbs down if you can't see her. If you cannot see Nia, thumbs down. It always happens like this. As soon as the conversation gets good, we're sitting. Okay, there she is.
Sorry. So what I was saying is, I already know how to make money, right? I already know how to get to, like, I know how determined I can get, right?
Yeah.
I also know that now I'm needing business system because I don't have any support when it comes to me and my child, like to watch her while I scale my business. So I started to get into like building business systems, unknowingly knowing that that's what I was doing. I didn't know I was creating systems. I thought I was just getting my shit together. Like, we gotta figure this out. I gotta just figure this out. So I thought I was doing that. So I harness everything on me because once you increase you, everything else has to move. It ain't no should. It ain't a would. It ain't a could. It has to move. There's no way you can continuously increase yourself and not shift some shit. There's no way. If you increase you, everything's going to shift whether you like it or not. It's just law. Whether you like it or not. So what kind of shift are you going to do when it comes to you? So instead of talking about everything else that comes with that, every component, I start talking and focusing directly on me. Building the systems, taking my client on the back end. And now you have actually caught me in a transition where now that I got the healing, now that I got the system, it's go time. And now it's like, you get what I'm saying? It's a totally different vibe because a lot of people can get the money, but then it's themselves that sets them back, and I'm past that. So now it's just straight target mode. But it took me to willing to prepare, and the preparation wasn't a business plan. My preparation was myself. And so that's increasing you was about you, and it's about building a full system to propel you to the next level, because it doesn't have to be hard. I'm all about building with peace. And at first I was making money and building, but I'm not sure if I was truly at peace or didn't know that I wasn't at peace. Like I told you, I didn't sit down. I never sat down. I was like the go-getter. Yeah. When I was working jobs, I was working like 3 jobs, and I would brag about it. Like, man, I'm about to get this.
About what you said was, when you have money, you don't have to feel.
You don't have to feel, but that's the culture of business.
Yeah.
I am a person who's going to change the industry when it comes to business to stop eliminating feelings, especially for Black women.
Yeah.
You need to feel love. That's where all of that energy is going to come from. Emotions doesn't have to have a negative effect around it. Emotions doesn't have to be your trap. Your emotions can be what propel you forward. They always talking about the negative side of the emotions and all of that, but I flip that thing around, and just being in business, it's like, I feel like they're forgetting about people. Okay, I understand you in business, but who the money got to come from? So, like, stop playing.
Yeah.
Who the money has to come from? It has to come from somebody's hand.
Yep.
That they work for. So stop acting like people don't matter and their emotions don't matter when it does, because everybody's moving. As much as people try to tell you that business is emotionalist, it's highly emotional.
Yes.
And it's very personal.
Absolutely.
Everybody's building businesses with suppressed emotions.
Let's talk about.
You get what I'm saying?
Let me tell you, because here's the thing. You talked about healing, right? And I feel like what people think the healing process should look like, it's like sitting somewhere in a corner, talking to yourself. Which that's the catalyst, right? Sitting with yourself, being with yourself, reflecting, that kind of thing. But then the test is when you go back out into the world, where everybody else might be operating from a suppressed perspective, and you still have to be healed. So can you talk about what was it like for you to be healed, but the rest of the world, or your business partners, or people that you're working with, they're not operating with the same level of healing that you are?
Don't take it personal, and I understand what I'm building is different. don't take it. I used to take it personal. I used to be like, why don't they understand? Why don't they get it? And then I understand, my calling and why I'm here, and I understand my journey, and I understand like it's easy for somebody who's made $1 million and trying to tell you what they did that worked for them, or maybe it's not even 1 million, maybe it's 6 figures or even lower than that, but they're telling you what worked, what they're telling you what worked for them, but nobody's on these phone calls with me with these women. I know their root.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? And I know their root isn't money. It's a reason why they're getting the money. Let's get to that level.
Mm-hmm.
You don't never have to tell her what she needs to do with her business. It'll come very clear to her if she can unbunk and unfold some things that she's probably hiding and embarrassed to talk about, and feel like she gotta puff her chest out to do business. And since you don't.
Yeah.
And so I'm all about building peace, building with peace, building healed, building while you heal. I always tell people, I dare you to heal while you building your business. It's what's going to take you to the next level. It takes you to that self-confidence. It takes you, while everybody puffing their chests out and saying that's how they moving, you're really there. And you're quiet about it. And you're calm about it. I'm not saying that people who does that is not, but you get what I'm saying though? It's just a whole different kind of shift. I'm not chasing money anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm thinking about the journey of like sharing on social media. So I don't see you like super live all the time, but I do see your content, right? And one of the things that I'm working on, I can be super structured in the way that I put out content. I do sometimes I go live all the time. That's when people get a chance to like see me, right? But when you mentioned, I dare you to heal while you're building your business. That's the one thing that puts me in mind. And then I'm also thinking about you also saying like, hey, there are things that Black women are afraid to talk about. But those are the things that I feel like our audience and our clients and the people we serve really need to hear. So what were some of those things you were afraid to talk about that you had to learn to overcome in your process?
My story. I was very embarrassed about my story because of how I was seen before. Like, I was known for this money person. So it was like, how did I get myself in this position, or how did I not know? And I can harp on that. However, if I look at the other side of it and what has grown and where it has taken my family and where it has taken me and positioned me, it's nothing compared to it. It needs to be told. And when I used to tell it like in the speaking events, because I used to talk about my story in like small, intimate settings, but never loud on social media, everybody would be like, when are you going to start sharing your story? There's more to it, but they were like, when are you going to start sharing it? And I'm like, I can't, because I was still into that, how I was going to be seen. And like, like I never had to be vulnerable because I had money.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like, I never had to be vulnerable because I had money. The whole time I didn't realize that I had to let go of the money in order to build the wealth.
Ooh-wee. So you're telling me that the catalyst really for you going from employee to entrepreneur was getting hit with that $18,000 bill. What that did for you was really start having you look at yourself like, yo, how am I the person who's always like got money through external expectations, right? But I can't even meet this $18,000 bill. That then sends you into this process of like, okay, well, nobody else has the money either. So how do I help them get to their level? And then you're still thinking about, well, I can't tell nobody that I couldn't get this $18,000 bill because they think I got money. So for you, you didn't feel comfortable sharing that, whether it be live or in person.
Not that. And then also protecting my family and my husband. And like, I didn't, social media can be. Yeah. It was, when I did talk about it, I was never received bad. It was just all in my mind. It was like I had this perfect picture and it was shattered.
Yeah.
The picture was like literally, you know how people say the American dream, married, husband, both 2 good jobs, I was living that life. I was living that kind of lifestyle. And then I come to find out that what I was living wasn't what I truly wanted. It wasn't what I thought that I was building.
Yeah.
You know? So it's almost like, yeah, the picture was shattered, but it needed to be to get me to where I thought I was really trying to go.
Wow.
Because I always knew I wanted a business, but I was never thinking about building a business to build generational wealth, because it came down to the point where my freedom was on the line for that 18 grand, right? And so I needed to position myself and my family to the point where we're not like our lives and our survival needs is not in the hands of other people. And that comes with ownership. So instead of going into like, I want to be an entrepreneur, my mindset was, I want to go into ownership. I need to build wealth. I need to get assets. I need to like, forget this money. I need assets. I need assets now. Like, you know, like, because, you know, now it's like, what will my next 8 years look like? It definitely ain't going to look like the last. You get what I'm saying? Now that I'm intentionally building, I'm building something that my children's children will never have to, even more than likely, I hope not coming across a situation like this ever.
Yeah.
Like ever.
Yeah.
And so, and it's like starting to be intentional. So I started to, let me also tell you this. When I started to also realize like people didn't have the money either, it's also came down to paying myself first. Because here's what I realized. I realized everybody was in business around me that I was giving my money to. And I was in the wrong game. So yeah, I had a job, right? But I was paying rent, right? Which means that somebody was in business. I was paying a light bill, which meant somebody's in business. I was going to the grocery store, which is a business, right? And so everybody had a business, and I'm moving a totally different way, thinking I'm in the game, and I was never in the game. So I switched and got in the fucking game. I got in the game.
You were a consumer.
Yeah, and didn't know it, but you don't know it because you got the home.
Yes.
You got the money. You can pay your bills on time. Like our bills is getting paid on time. So it's like you got the money, you pay your bills on time, all of these things. And so like, why ain't nothing wrong? So why fix it? And it's like, you don't have to even, I just started calculating my time, money, and effort, and that became more important than the money because I already know how to make money. And that's the thing. Everybody already know how to make money. Nobody needs to know how to make more money. We already making money.
Facts.
If you get grounded and get clarity on where you at and get you a flow system, you're going to take off because you already know what the drive is. You already got the drive. You already got everything that you have inside of you to truly move forward. You just need clarity.
Yeah.
And it just made me feel like, dang, I went to school. I done got this good job. And like, it landed me here.
This is it.
Yeah, like it landed me here. Like this ain't it. Like,
yeah.
You know, I thought that, you know, at least you get a little credit for trying to be a good citizen in the world.
You know,
but that don't matter.
I did everything that I was supposed to do.
What it comes down to is your bread especially when you're dealing in America. It came down to my money. So even only that, I started creating workshops in high school and was getting awards. Like
workshops on what?
How to build wealth. Wow. I feel like everybody who comes out of school should be building wealth. They shouldn't be talk to them about nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
So you can educate them.
You're working with your clients, right? They come to you They know they're like I'm assuming you attract more women who are similar to they identify with your story and they need to go through a process. What is the process that you take them through to get them to understand that, hey, this is the change that we're about to go through, and then this is the journey that I take you through to get to where you want to go? What does your process look like to work with your
So a lot of women wasn't identifying with my story because I wasn't telling it. They was identifying with my mission, which was to overcome generational poverty and dominate generational wealth. And so that's what I was showing. I was showing the mission. I was showing myself going out there on a mission to build this wealth.
So what was the change in your process? Why did you start like specifically sharing your story, and then did you see a change in your business?
I would say this happened in maybe May, April, May.
Mm-hmm.
I would say I probably told my first story like that November in a small setting, but I wasn't public with it. But the people, my clients who were coming to me had never heard my story. They were clicking in with my drive, and then I was healing in front of the audience. I would talk about my childhood trauma in front of the audience. I would tell them, you get what I'm saying? So I think it's my transformation, and I think that they just wanted the support with transforming themselves too. And so the process that I take them through is a conversation. Most people don't want to talk to you in business, but people need a conversation. So that's the first thing I start off with, because to identify what the problem is they're really coming to me, because normally when people come to you, they're not telling you the truth the first time. And so you get what I'm saying? They're not telling you, it's surface level. And so when I start asking certain questions, and then they will start to debunk that and really realize, like, damn, my issue is money. My issue is because I don't have support, and I feel like I'm building this empire all by myself. Well, then, girl, let me help you support. Let me support you on helping you build what you need, and let's work on that. You need a system. Let's put your systems in place, because the thing is, the thing is, you do need people and things like that. And however, my systems has never failed me when people didn't come through. And so, like, you get what I'm saying? So my systems are so you may not have the support that you feel like you need to have, but let me build these systems, and I'm going to support you personally. Yeah. I'm going to support you. We're going to build these systems, and then I'm going to be in the trenches with you as you're building. Because usually people are building, and then they snatch their time away from you, and then you're kind of like left trying to figure it out on your own. But it's not just technical. It's their emotionals and their mindset that they start struggling with. And then so who do they go to for that?
Right.
And so to propel them forward isn't task. To propel them forward is to keep them grounded. So that's what I do.
Listen, drop the
Yeah.
I have really enjoyed your energy and your story. And I think it's really clear. Like, for folks who want to work with you, you've been through the story yourself. And then you've actually created a system in your personal life and your business life that allows you to build on the increase in you that you found, like the foundation of who you are, and then to go into your next level. Have you heard of the wealth triangle?
No, what is it? Tell me more.
So it's funny because in the beginning you talked about like you didn't know, like there was no like instruction manual. Like, go and focus on personal development. But the wealth triangle is specifically about like a lot of people they focus on they're in their job and they hate it. Let's say they hate it, or they're faced with a similar issue where they got the $18,000 that they gotta make. And they go straight to, well, I'm going to go into real estate. Or they go straight to, well, I'm going to go start in the stock market. But they forget all about that personal development. So the personal development is you developing your high value skill set, right? And then you get into the investments, and then you start building a business, which is literally the path that you took your life into. So now you create a system to help others.
Because everybody don't think they got time for themselves. Mm-hmm. They don't got time for them. They got to move to make money for everything and everything else and to make it work. Then they have time for themselves. And you got to have time for yourself first, because who's going to build the business? Who's going to run the plays?
Yeah.
And so when I'm saying that I got in the trenches with my development, I got in the trenches. I don't work out to lose weight. I think everybody think I'm working out to lose weight. I work out to have stamina to run this thing. You get what I'm saying? To have energy. You need energy to run your business. I don't care if you got a team and system or whatnot. You're going to need some energy. That's why I work out. I don't work out to lose weight. And so, like everything started literally becoming. I stopped looking at spending my money. I started investing my money. So everything I put my money on is an investment, even down to my food. Now I don't eat good all the time, but if I'm gonna buy this bag of Doritos, it's an investment, and that investment is gonna go in my body. And if I'm gonna eat Doritos every day, I'm gonna pay for that.
Yeah.
Now I'm in debt. Because now I can't get up and produce how I need to produce. You get what I'm saying? So it came down to nobody has enough time for themselves because they're in survivor mode.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're paying bills and try to pay things off. They think it's the money, and it's an illusion. Work on yourself. You already know how to get money. Double down and trust that you already know how to get it. I guarantee you, nobody on this call right now ain't making no money, like nothing.
Yeah, y'all know.
Or not in a position of making something. Like you're making something.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So we don't have to be scared about if we're gonna make enough or not. Get grounded within you. Get you a flow system in place to propel you, and let's go. The money is already here.
So for those of you guys who are in here, number one, thank you so much for joining. If you specifically have a question for Ms. Nia about how she can take you through your process of increasing yourself to increase your wealth, I don't want to take your time, but you can take that.
Okay.
But if you guys have a specific question for Ms. Nia, go ahead and ask it now. You can drop it in the chat, or you can put it in the little question box below. But I just want to thank you so much for sharing your story. I want to thank you so much for being transparent. You said it's the transformation, but I always say like the people who are attracted to you and who work with you and who get that transformation, they're attracted to your transparency. And because you're transparent about your job, I think that's what a lot of people can get value out of, because you have to trust any coach who says that they're going to increase you so you can increase your business. You have to trust them. And you come with that transparency. You come with this is what I've experienced. There's nothing to hide, which I can't imagine what you were like before. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's coming down, but I'm not coming off boosters, but I'm in beast mode right now. Like my mindset is there, my emotions is grounded. Like it's like I worked to get here, and I know that this is what people are looking for, but it's not in the money, it's in within self.
Yeah. So before we get out of here, would you mind sharing specifically how the folks can contact you if they want to work with you, and what do they need to do to get prepared to be either coached by you or a client?
If you would like to work with me, you can just inbox me. I am 100% underground. Like I said, I pulled back from business to work on myself, and I'm back now. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so I'm back now coming as far as creating content. But you can just inbox me and we can take it from there. Is this my end or they're having issues? I think it was me. I think I had an alarm come through, so I just dismissed it.
Okay, I heard it. But just real quick, go ahead and just say your Instagram again. What can they sign up for? What can folks sign up for right now? And then what transformation are you doing?
You can inbox me, and the first thing to sign up for is an insight session. An insight session is where we go deep to see what it is that you got going on and if I'm capable of helping you get to the next level. 9 times out of 10 I am, but let's just see if that's what it is that you truly need that I can help you with. But I like to get clear before I work with people. I don't want people paying me and then we trying to get clear.
Facts. Absolutely. There it is.
Let's know what we already doing, because once we work together, we're kind of going to go down a rabbit hole. Because what it does is people are coming to me for one problem, and then we're going to find a real problem. Yes. And then we work on that problem. And then it's not the problem that you came to me for. I'm just letting y'all know the process with everybody I've been through. It starts off with something they're coming to me with. We're going to go through, we're going to identify more than likely what it truly is, and then that then becomes the plan. But once we get that plan, it then solves the main problem that you was coming to me for. Does that make sense?
Yes, it's funny how that
Okay.
works. So y'all,
It's just, yeah.
go ahead and click this little click the little arrow above so you can go ahead and follow Nia if you are not already following her. Thank you so much for sharing your story, Nia, and thank you so much for blessing everybody who's been in this chat who are receiving your story and know now how to create systems in their own life so they can increase themselves.
Thank you. Can I get this recording? I would love to show. Okay. All right. Thank you, love.
Absolutely. Talk to you soon.
All right. You guys have a good day. Bye.
You too.